Hello and welcome to Lit Talkers. Today we are exploring Virginia Woolf's groundbreaking essay, A Room of One's Own. This extended essay is a cornerstone of feminist literature, and in today's video, we will break down its major themes, ideas, and characters. A Room of One's Own is published in 1929. It is originated from a series of lectures Woolf delivered at women's colleges at Cambridge University. The essay is an intricate blend of narrative, historical analysis, and social commentary, making a compelling argument for women's creative freedom. Woolf's essay is written in a unique narrative style, blending fiction and fact. The narrator, who is referred to as Mary Benton, Mary Seton, or Mary Carmichael, depending on the context, takes us through a journey across various settings, including Oxbridge University, Fenham College, and the British Museum. The essay is not just a critique of society, it's a deep dive into the systemic obstacles that have prevented women from realizing their full creative potential. The central idea Woolf presents is simple yet revolutionary. A woman must have money and a room of her own. If she is to write fiction, this statement encapsulates the need for financial independence and personal space as prerequisites for creative freedom. The essay deals into several key themes, including the importance of financial independence, the need for personal space, and the pervasive inequality between men and women. Woolf argues that the lack of financial resources and private space has historically kept women from writing great literature. Another critical theme is the androgynous mind, a concept borrowed from Coleridge, which Woolf believes is essential for producing great literature. An androgynous mind is one that embodies both masculine and feminine qualities, allowing a writer to transcend the limitations imposed by gender. Woolf also critiques the patriarchy and how it shapes the literary world. She points out that history has been written by men for men and that women's voices have been systematically silenced. This silencing has had a profound impact on women's ability to contribute to literature and culture. Let's discuss key characters and symbols. In A Room of One's Own, Woolf introduces us to several key characters and symbols. One of the most important is Judith Shakespeare, the fictional sister of William Shakespeare. Judith is just as talented as her brother, but because she is a woman, she is denied the opportunities that he enjoys. Ultimately, her genius is stifled and she ends her life in despair. Judith symbolizes the lost potential of countless women throughout history. Then there's the beadle, a symbol of the restrictions placed on women. At Oxbridge, the narrator is physically barred from entering the library by the beadle, a representative of the institution that excludes women from intellectual life. This scene underscores the essay's critique of the systemic barriers that women face. Another powerful symbol is the tailless cat, which the narrator observes at Oxbridge. This cat, missing its tail, symbolizes the lack of something vital, much like the absence of women's voices in the literary canon. Woolf uses this image to convey a sense of loss and incompleteness. Let's discuss A Room of One's Own's short summary. A Room of One's Own's essay contains total 6 chapters. Here we discuss. Chapter 1. The essay begins with the narrator at Oxbridge, where she is fishing for an idea on women and fiction. However, her thoughts are constantly interrupted by the environment around her. The beadle who bars her from the library, the impermeable fortress like university, and the contrast between the lavish meal at Oxbridge and the unimpressive fare at Fenham, a women's college. This contrast highlights the economic disparities between men and women and how these disparities impact their creative output. In chapter 2, the setting is at the British Museum. In the second chapter, the narrator visits the British Museum, where she finds an overwhelming number of books written by men about women. She notes that these books are often not objective or truthful, reflecting the biases of their male authors. Woolf raises two important questions. Why did men drink wine while women didn't? And why has one sex prospered while the other has remained poor? She finds part of the answer in Professor Von Eck's book, which is steeped in misogyny. The chapter ends with the narrator reflecting on the legacy left to her by her aunt, Mary Beton, which provides her with the financial independence she needs to write. In chapter 3, Woolf examines the Elizabethan period, noting the lack of women writers despite the flourishing of literature by men. Woolf highlights how the lack of education and financial stability prevented women from writing during the Elizabethan era. These barriers were insurmountable for most women, leading to their exclusion from the literary world. Woolf discusses how history books often ignore or marginalize women, leading to a distorted understanding of their contributions and experiences. This absence in recorded history further exacerbates the challenges women face in gaining recognition. She imagines an alternate history where Shakespeare had a sister, Judith, who was just as talented as Shakespeare. However, Judith's talents go unrecognized and she ultimately takes her own life, symbolizing the lost potential of women who were denied the opportunity to express themselves. In chapter 4, Woolf introduces the theory of incandescence, suggesting that the mind of an artist must be incandescent, free from any obstructions such as anger or bitterness. Woolf elaborates on the concept of incandescence, suggesting that the best writing comes from a mind that is incandescent or free from personal grievances and anger. However, she argues that such a state of mind was nearly impossible for women in the Elizabethan period due to the societal constraints they faced. In chapter 5, the narrator examines the works of women writers from the past and present, including Lady Winchelsea, Margaret of Newcastle, Dorothy Osborne, Afra Ben, Jane Austen, and George Eliot. Woolf acknowledged that women writers such as Afra Ben were pioneers who laid the groundwork for future generations. Afra Ben's ability to earn living through writing marked a turning point, showing that women could break into the literary profession and also Woolf examines the works of contemporary women writers and notes that they are beginning to achieve the same level of literary quality as their male counterparts. However, she points out that these writers are still often confined to certain genres, such as novels, because these forms were more socially acceptable for women. Let's discuss on women writers one by one. Lady Winchelsea was a 17th century English poet. She is one of the earliest women poets to gain recognition. Woolf views Lady Winchelsea as a talented writer who was deeply frustrated by the limitations imposed on her as a woman. This frustration is evident in her poetry, which often expresses anger and bitternesses. Woolf suggests that while Lady Winchesley's talent was undeniable, the social conditions of her time prevented her from fully realizing her potential as a poet. Next women writer is Margaret of Newcastle. Her full name, Margaret Cavendish. She is a Duchess of Newcastle. She was a 17th century English writer, philosopher, and scientist. She was one of the few women of her time to publish extensively in various fields, including literature, philosophy, and natural science. Woolf acknowledged Margaret of Newcastle's prolific output and her boldness in pursuing intellectual pursuits that were typically reserved for men. However, Woolf also notes that much of Margaret's writing was eccentric and scattered, which she attributes to the lack of a literary tradition for women to follow. Margaret's work, while groundbreaking, was often dismissed as scribbling because it did not conform to the established norms of the time. Next, we go on Dorothy Osborne. Dorothy Osborne was a 17th century English letter writer known for her letters to her future husband, Sir William Temple. Her letters are admired for their wit, insight, and elegant prose. Woolf praises Osborne's letters as some of the finest examples of personal writing from the period. She highlights Osborne's natural talent for storytelling and her ability to convey emotion and intellect in her correspondence. However, Osborne never pursued writing beyond her letters, reflecting the limited opportunities available to women of her time. Next, we go to Jane Austen. Jane Austen was an English novelist whose works, including Pride and Prejudice and Emma, are among the most celebrated in English literature. Woolf views Jane Austen as a key figure in women's literary history. She admires Austen's ability to write with detachment and objectivity, free from bitterness or anger, despite the constraints placed on women during her time. Woolf considers Austen's work to be a triumph of women's writing, as she managed to create enduring high quality literature without the financial independence or societal support that men enjoyed. Next, we go on George Eliot. George Eliot was the pen name of Mary Ann Evans, a 19th century English novelist known for her works such as Middlemarch and Silas Marner. Woolf praises George Eliot for her intellectual depth and her ability to write with a balanced, androgynous mind. Eliot's novels are celebrated for their exploration of complex social and psychological themes. Woolf considers Eliot's work to be a significant advancement in women's writing, as she was able to achieve literary greatness despite the continued limitations placed on women. She notes that these women struggled with anger and frustration due to the limitations placed on them by society. Woolf praises Jane Austen and George Eliot for their ability to write without bitterness, achieving great literary success. That's it on writers. Next chapter 6. The final chapter explores the idea of the androgynous mind, a concept Woolf borrows from Coleridge. She argues that the best writers possess a balance of masculine and feminine qualities, allowing them to write in a way that transcends gender. Woolf criticizes the self assertion of male writers like Mr. A, an imaginary novelist, and calls for more gender neutral writing. She urges women to write all kinds of books, free from the constraints of societal expectations. Virginia Woolf's A Room of One's Own is a powerful and timeless work that continues to inspire readers today. Its exploration of gender, creativity, and the need for independence remains relevant in our ongoing discussions about equality and artistic freedom. Woolf's vision of a world where women have the same opportunities as men is a call to action that still resonates nearly a century later. I hope this detailed look at a room of one's own has given you a deeper understanding of Woolf's ideas and their significance. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more literary analysis and discussions. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.